But Ghost Fit, man, tell me about Ghost Fit.
Man, it's been a journey. So I started Ghost Fit in 2017. Gosh, there's a lot of backstory behind it. I'll kind of give you like a condensed version. So
Bro, give me the
my
long
fresh
version.
long version, got
Yeah.
it, got it. Okay. So
Whatever you want.
like I said, so I'm from Chisago Lakes, a very small town, like you said. We played against each other in football. You have to understand. So the city that I come from is about 3,500 people. Our high school is made up of seven different towns, right? So seven
Oh,
different
wow.
towns come together and form our one high school. And there's about 1,100 people in our high school, so there's not very many people from each town that go to the high school. Anyways, started playing football early on, third, fourth grade, something like that.
Hmm.
Started doing really well in football. My freshman year of high school was playing varsity. But let me kind of back it up and say once again, it's a very small town. Obviously, there's a lot of ego that goes on with that
Hmm.
those sorts of things. You have the upperclassmen, saying a lot of things. You got girls, you got right. A lot comes to you without really being prepared for it, right?
Hmm.
In my freshman year of college, I'm at the University of Minnesota playing football. And like I said, come from a small school in high school, I have all these expectations. Mentally, I wasn't prepared for this moment, right? You go from, like I said, a very small school to something that, you have media coverage, you have guys that are literally playing in the league, you got old NFL alumni coming back. You have media coverage. I mean, you have so much that you are never, I was never, accustomed to, and then you kind of just get thrown into the fire, right?
Hmm.
So my maturity at the time, was definitely not of someone that was in the position that I was in. So, going in, I was like, you know what, I'll play, 3, 4 years, go to the league, right? I had all these dreams and ambitions, but I didn't have the work ethic to go with it, and that's just the reality of it, right? I was an elite, I would say, high school football player, but I wasn't playing against the best talent, or I didn't have to work as hard as these other kids may have had to because of the district and the school that I came up with.
Hmm.
Um, and so after my first year, I started making up all these excuses. Football isn't for me, this and that, right? Really making an excuse for me mentally not being tough enough to kind of handle the adversity that I was going through, from kind of being a starter for 4 years in high school to being the bottom of the barrel, in college. So I ended up quitting what is this? This would have been the end of my freshman year. So it was after spring ball. So I got to the University of Minnesota in the spring of 2000 and no, the summer of 2014 in June, and I ended up quitting in May of 2015. So I was there for about like 11 months.
Okay.
Ended up quitting football, right? Like I said, I basically made up a ton of excuses. The next year I was just average, student enrollee at the University of Minnesota. And the thing about football and myself at the time is a lot of my like ideals, like who I was, what made me, Josh Parks, was wrapped up into football. So when I quit football, my identity, the person who I was, the promises I made to my friends and family, like all that was gone now, right? So, a literal moment of looking yourself in the mirror, you're like, who the fuck am I now, right?
Hmm.
And I'm glad that I had that, thought process, because now looking back at it, especially talking with other, former athletes, everyone has this sort of feeling, right? Because you've been doing this for such a long time, you have an attachment to this game, the sport, whatever it is. I'm sure that it goes with other industries as well. But yeah, I looked at myself and I'm like, man, this, for the past 12 years, like, this is who I was. I'm so used to having the team camaraderie. I'm so used to having the schedule, right? I'm so used to people perceiving me in a certain way. Like, now I'm no longer that person. And it led to a lot of mental health, concerns with me. The biggest thing was anxiety, right?
Hmm.
That second year being at the University of Minnesota, not playing sports, I ended up quitting all my classes. I was drinking all the time, started smoking some weed. Like, I was just like going down this rabbit hole of feeling bad for myself, not knowing like where I fit in anymore, because I kind of lost that passion of who I was and what I did for my entire life. And after about 6 months, I was, like I said, I was on anti-anxiety pills, just a bunch of different sort of remedies to try to get myself back into someone that could, help society in some sort of way. So I became a manager at Pizza Hut right down the road, doing all these like little ins and outs sort of things. And, one day, I called my mom and I'm like, hey mom, like I'm flushing these pills down the toilet. Like they just make me feel like a zombie. Like I just need to like stop feeling bad for myself, stop sulking and sort of get back into, who I am. And really what it came down to is I need to start working out again. I need to start focusing on school, right? Just doing like the little fundamental things that, a person my age should be doing.
Mhm.
So finally, that winter of my sophomore year, started working out again, started reading a lot more, started just like figuring out what anxiety was and like what I was feeling, right? This is the first time I had ever had like the sensation of anxiety or like doubt, mental like doubting, myself. So I was really trying to dive in, figuring out like what all this meant and like how to like understand it, right? Um, so I started working out, and my main goal at this point was like, all right, I'm gonna be, like a Gymshark model athlete. I'm gonna
Mhm.
become like an elite athlete, like whatever. I really
I know what you
wanted
mean.
like on that train. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That then during that time, like that was really popping off. Like so
Mhm.
many people were kind of aspiring to be that. So
Me included.
yeah, exactly right. So I started an Instagram page, and it was like Josh Parks Fitness or something like
Yep.
that. And started, working out on there. And after like 3, 4 months, I had some companies start sending me apparel. Hey man, will you try this on? Will you post it for us? We'll repost you. Here's a discount code, right? All
Yep.
the sort of, natural things that come with that. And I did that. And there's one company specifically, and they're actually still a company, so I won't mention their name. But it was a Canadian company, and they sent me this shirt, and it was just an average basic shirt, right? I mean, the thing that I realized, and I think this is kind of what helped me with my journey, is that 9 times out of 10, if you take the logo off of someone's apparel and you put it side by side with all your other favorite pieces, they all kind of look the same. And
Yeah.
when this company sent me the shirt, it was like a $30 or $35 shirt that I had to personally pay for. They didn't actually ship it out for free. Um, and I remember telling my girlfriend at the time, I'm like, this shit sucks. Like, this is not a good shirt. It's expensive. Like, and then also on the flip side, I think this is why I was so upset as well. They told me that they were gonna repost me and like put me like on their website and their social media and stuff, and they didn't do any of that. They basically, once I bought the shirt, they didn't respond to me ever again. Um,
Fuckers.
right. Yeah,
God damn
fucking
'em.
I was pissed off, snow bleed, right? I tell my girlfriend this, and she's like, why don't you just start your own company? And I was like, what do you mean start my own company? She's like, just make your own shirt. She's like, you obviously don't like this, right? She's like, why don't you just start your own stuff? And for me, like I've always been a curious person, right? Like I said, even with anxiety, like my whole goal was to like focus and figure out like what anxiety was and learn about it, right? I've always had that sort of like intuition with things I didn't know, like how do I dive into it? How do I learn about it? Like, how do I become like as educated as possible? And that's what I do with clothing as well. So I was like, okay, one, I don't know about manufacturing. I don't know about prices. I don't know about styles. I don't know about fabrics. Like I don't know about, anything, right? Supply chain. And so for that first 6 months of 2016, that's really all I was focused on. What what is clothes basically, right? Like how do you break it down from fabric to get it to into the consumer's hands? And
Mhm.
it's just a lot of YouTube. It was a lot of asking questions, finding people in the industry that I could kind of figure out what they knew, about clothing and manufacturing and all that kind of stuff. And it was August, I think it was August 30th of 2017. We finally launched, our first product. I think we had three products. We had three shirts. It was a black, white, and olive green shirt. And let me tell you, I mean, they were fucking horrible. they were awful. But we started with that, and kind of the rest was history. We've been in business now for almost going on to 4 years this year. Really started as an e-commerce company, right? It's
Mhm.
just selling our apparel online. And, I'm sure that we'll dive into this more, but, our business strategy and plan has, changed, a lot from that. I mean, we still do sell online, but we do a lot more stuff in terms of our apparel now. So
What's up, guys? Thank you for watching the video that you just watched. If you liked any video that I have put out, or again, the one you just watched, please subscribe to my channel, as I have a new episode coming out every single week with new clips coming out every single week as well. And I'm not stopping. So if you enjoy this, or enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed what you just listened to, or anything else that you have watched from my channel in the past, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. All right. Thanks, guys.